Good evening. Once again, thanks for joining us. This is the Voice of Reasoning with Alex Jones and Joseph Bannie. Welcome to the show, Mr.
Thank you.
Bannie. How are
Thank you.
you?
Thank you. Thank you as usual.
Okay, all right. So today's topic, July 19, we're going to be looking at how we can get out of this mess in Liberia. Everything there is a mess. The political structure is a mess. The economy is a mess. The social problem is a mess. Um, you know, the whole fabric of society is messed up.
Yes.
So please tell us what your view on how we get out of here. Well, we got people like Prince Johnson running around making decisions for us. Bannie, Euro, these are a whole country, and you take the worst people, all right, as the leaders, and here we are.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, first of all, let me greet my people and our listening audience. And we want to welcome you again to Voice of Reasoning. Here's where we're supposed to meet to reason, to talk
Mhm.
together, to have a civil dialogue, so that how we all can brainstorm to fix our country and get off out of where we are now. And that's what we'll be talking about this evening.
Okay.
For me, Mr. Jones, and I think the best way we
Mhm.
can do is what we are doing now: to reason, to uh, to get together as patriotic citizens,
Mhm.
and we find a way out. How can we do that? We can't do this by continuing to bring leaders who don't care for this country. And the only way we can do this is again to look for good leaders who will lead our country out of this mess we're in and restore our peace and tranquility. And how can we do that? Is to look among the grassroots, Mr. Jones. I mean, we have had all these people not running up and down want to be leaders. These people have been in government for over how many years, some of them? Okay, ranging from some 45 years up to now, they are still in government, have not made any significant change. So I think this is about time we all to reason with what these people have done and what they can do and what they will not do, and find people that can do this job. And I think we got to look into the grassroots. I always saying the grassroots politicians who are coming, they got good messages and plan for this country. So that's the only way we can get out, to find suitable leaders who will lead our country out.
Okay. But most of the grassroots people today, Mr. Banning, they get elected to represent the people. All the people in the House of Representatives, they are grassroots people for the most part, except for the few Vanny Shermans and but most of the people who were elected go to the different counties. These were ordinary people, grassroots people, common people. They get in the House of Representatives or the Senate, they turn corrupt and useless. Okay. George Weah is a grassroots person, you may argue. Walker is a grassroots person. You can get more native than him. Yeah, okay. He tells his story growing up with no shoes, but then he becomes vice president. He becomes minister. What does he do for those children who don't have shoes on? So there's a grassroots people sometimes that gets power and do nothing with it. Am I saying all of them? No. But the majority of the people today who are representing the common people are common people. Okay. If you go to Thomas Fala, that's an ordinary man, that's a native man, that's a regular person, grassroots. Okay. Jefferson Kochi, native boy from Lofa County, you know. Now he wearing Gucci, while children ain't got slippers on. Even when a native, when a grassroots, when our own people they're there. And look at now, look at
Mm.
it, look at the environment. So while I agree that you can't take a brush and pin everybody. There are people in Liberia who have good intentions. There are people in Liberia perhaps that can do better. But the evidence here is that most of the people who have come from the grassroots, from the county, from the tribe, they have been worse than even the Congo people. At least the Congo people there used to build schools and they used to do some good in the counties. Now go to Bon, go to what you call River Cess, go to Grand Cru, nothing. They collect the money from the government and that's it. Election time, they go to buy a few bag of rice, they give it to the people, they get in the $20 to show up, and you don't see them again for 6 years or whenever until the next election. Darius DeLore is a grassroots person. Look what a disgrace he is. So how do we get out of this mess? Well, we keep doing the same thing, and like Cummings said, we keep Cummings is not a grassroots person, but look, he come there, I can worse than the grassroots people. So please to help our audience today, how we're the 7th poor nation. Okay. Even if Liberia had the best leadership today with no corruption, it would take us a good 5, 10, 20 years just to get things back to normal. And we're nowhere from even getting that kind of leadership. We owe $2 billion in debt. Every year we're paying $150 million just on interest. The country is bankrupt. All the campaigning you see, wait till next year. People will not get paid for months because they're taking the money they're supposed to pay people, the money that's supposed to go to health, the money that go to education, and they're channeling all that money to win the election. After the election, then what? Help us here.
Okay, look, I think while our audience is listening, they will all agree with us. Besides those few who are being led by by the starter code, and that starter code is what would I be eating until the rest get done, and depending on the handouts, I think what we ought to do as, again, like patriots or the citizens of this country, I would rather we have a council meetings. I mean, we could have it state by state or even in a country. We all need to come together to be able to look among ourselves to bring all the problems on the table and see how best we can solve it. They're just leaving it with a few group of people. Let's look at first of all, the country as a whole, the structure. And number two, we look at the system. It is the system in Liberia we don't have. We look at our judiciary area. Our justice department is not all right. Then we look at our security, our school. If we look at all of these segments that make up our country and begin to pluck out the problems and put in the solutions, I think we can do better. But leaders are coming nowadays not even considering the major problems that our country is facing. All they are looking at is the big money. Let me get there and cut my share. We can't face country like this. I wrote a pamphlet. Number one, what I begin with was first justice. Chu-Chu, again, I will always continue to say, a country that has no law is not a country. Even the great God of the universe, when he decided he had law in heaven, which is why he threw Satan out when Satan went against the laws. So if our creator is a God of laws, what about us who are the product of his creation? If we don't have the law in order, in place in Liberia, we can't do anything right. more or less with all these people who came in and destroyed country. Well, let's not just look at the Civil War, but there were lawlessness even before the war. Well, if we can't even go back down there, let's start punishing those who we can handle, those who are in our grips. We've got to restore law and order. In Liberia, when people begin to respect the country first, we will begin to respect each other. When they start respecting each other, we'll respect each other's lives. And when we start respecting each other's lives, we'll respect their properties. These are the things, these are the places we all need to focus, and not just going to be the president, not just going to be in the House of Representatives or Senator. Let's look at the problem that's affecting this country. And if we can begin to find solution to this thing, any government that comes into power, it will be easy done, an easy deal, because we have system already. And if that president or that leader or those leaders don't follow by the system, then we can just kind of exercise the authority. But we need to first of all be able to look at the problems in the country, the problems that's affecting us, our security, our education, our health system, then of course our transport system. These areas need very careful studies, and we come up with solutions before we even be talking about president or this, that.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a very good idea if only the people will be unselfish to even first start discussing the problem. In the whole country today, you don't even have a sound discussion, an exchange, or like you said, talking about things like health, how we can get primary health care to children, to women, to men, how we can get employment, and how we can start to invest in Liberia. Nobody's interested. When last did you see any one of these top political leaders say, let's have a conference where all Liberians can come, speak their minds, discuss, bring things to the table? What kind of Liberia do you see? How do we move out of this mess? Have you ever seen Burkhardt say anything like that before? And that's what leadership should be about.
Yes.
Somebody who can take people and carry them on a fee and pay them $20.
Bring
but
ideas.
They can't have I know from history, the elders in the town, when there's a problem, will call everybody. So in the morning, right? Nelson Mandela read his book, Don't Walk to Freedom. And he claimed he used to go with his father, and they would sit around, and his father would listen to everybody, would share their views. And then they will figure out how to solve those problems.
Yes.
When last have you seen that by any one of these quote-unquote useless leaders? George Weah is not doing it. Okay? What makes him then a good leader? Everything in the country is broken. And I'll put the statistics, unless you live in a dream world or you high or drunk or something, there is no progress going on in Liberia. Progress in health, education, there's nothing that's going on in Liberia that you can even remotely look like a progress. So if the leaders cannot get people together, yes, Liberia, the people cannot even report if they're claiming that the unemployment rate in Liberia, right? Let's go there. Is 3%. Yeah, right. Yeah, 3.6%. So in other words, the people are so stupid, they can't even calculate. They're telling me that only 3% of Liberian 5 million people or 3 million people that are in the workforce looking for a job. Okay? Look at countries like Rwanda, 17%. Okay? Tunisia, 16%. Namibia, 20%. Senegal, 21%. Then you're telling me in Liberia, nobody looking for a job? This is the report that they send to the world that only 3%, 3.6% people need job in Liberia. What does that tell you? What does that,
honesty?
okay? Even in America, yeah, the unemployment rate is more than 3%. Then let's go here to some of the numbers we're talking about. This year they call the trade balance of trade, meaning how much, and I'll bring it up further. Okay. You see that green, the red number, current account. Okay. 67% every that's the deficit.
Deficit, yeah, negative.
How much percentage of things we import as opposed to export? In millions, $67 million every year deficit in terms of our current account. Go back to the debt to GDP. And I'll break it down. 51% debt. So if you look at our GDP, over half of it, that debt that generation will pay. Okay, generation is going to pay for that. Is right at 51%. Okay, just those two numbers again should make your hair stand up. The balance of trade, 67 million every year negative since early time. Okay, interest rates where people go to the bank to start businesses in Liberia, 17%. And that's for the banks. That's the bank that's the bank, not even the commercial rate. So you usually add more for the commercial. Who can borrow? Who can do business with that kind of number? Okay. So yeah, unemployment, they say that 3.6%. All the educated people will get, all the Americans and the one who went to Harvard and all of them, they see this mess here. And none of them will say, you know what, let's discuss. These are important things. How can we come together? I was watching last night, and some young people were having show, Duke and this ANC people, and they had some brilliant ideas. They were talking one point about, you know, how parties need to have a philosophy, ideology, meaning what is this party set up for?
Right.
Okay. So the question I asked them was, all right, this is a good discussion. Why you don't call other people? Wouldn't have to be your ANC people, you know? And why? Where in the world you go to Ghana, you listen to the radio, you listen to the TV show. Everybody is discussing as one for the country. You come to Liberia, you got, if you're not in a ANC gang, then you're not part of it. If you're not in the CDC gang, if you're not in the Borga, you see what these leaders have done to Liberians, especially the youth. They've divided them, robbed them of any participation, and they're so stupid, ignorant, right? They see the leaders doing these things. People who don't care about the country, people who just care about their own electability, and they follow them, and they say they went to school in America. So, like I said, this is a very good point you raised. People need to start discussing these things. Okay, people need to start talking about where this country is. I have never seen a country economics so bad. If you elected president tomorrow in Liberia, just run for help, because you're not even going to be able to pay the interest on the debt. The interest, that $2 billion is almost $170 million every year you got to pay. And every year it adds up by over $100 million. How are you going to fix that problem before you can get money to build school and hospital and roads? That just tell you the ignorance of the people who will say they're running. If somebody comes and tell you, say, I'm going to go do this and that, and you don't ask them where you're going to take the money from, then yourself, you're a fool. They're using you. Liberia does not have the money. And they will add more debt and take wherever they can take. You got that kind of debt and that kind of responsibility. And then you take the little money in the budget and you pay representatives and senators $15,000. And I will end with this point. The only way Liberia will move forward and start to get good people and change, unless they stop paying representatives that kind of money. Take it from me. Everybody today, the Shushan boy wants to be representative. The fisherman wants to be representative. The carpenter wants to be representative. Why? He gonna get 15,000 money that he can
Yes.
never earn anywhere in his life. He's not qualified for, except for Liberian government. Brokaw then started this thing, Ellen started this thing, and that thing would take Liberia to hell and back. They need to stop it. You can't take the country money and just, it's called embezzlement, and just pay people in offices. How are you going to get people who want to go into business? How you can get people who go into other fields? If you become representative, you become rich. Nobody in our country should make more than $3,000 until we fix this mess. If we're serious people. But you will never hear that from any political leader. Why? They don't care. Their children don't live there. They don't go to the hospital there. They get there, they pocket the money, and they're gone. They buy the houses in America, their bags are packed, they have their foreign passport, they're gone.
Yeah.
It's on your and the young people in our country.
Thank you. Thank you. And you just said about everything that I was going to climax with. Again, I'll come back to my same idea. Let's look at the multi-party system. Multi-party system. It's like anybody can just come up. Once you find 2-3 person, you form your party, this, that. And like you just strike it. Government from the past and this present, the only concern is cabinet ministers and high government officials pay salary. It's all that they look at. I agree with you. Why must one person get 15,000 or plus a month?
Or even 5,000. It's a poor country.
Yeah.
Okay, you never made Mr. Bannie, I'm sorry for interrupting you. I'll give you the floor back. You have never made $1,000 in your life. You've never earned $1,000 from a job in your life per month. Why should you get $5,000 from the government that needs the money for social services? What sense does that make? It's not like you are making, maybe you're making $100,000 and you go to Liberia, you have your family, you have your house, you have your expense. Even at that, I don't even support it, because if you're going to serve, you're going to serve. But if you never earn $500 in your life, why should Liberian government pay you that money? Let somebody who's smarter than me answer that question. You're shooting. Why should you give the president $10-15 million budget for personal expense? Why should you give speaker $200,000-$300,000 a year in just allowances? Why should a man at Dallas that can make $10 an hour anywhere, and I challenge that, okay, be walking around making $15,000? Now he won't travel the things he never had before in his life. He can never earn. You think that man gonna want to leave that position? You kill before he leaves it. You have to take his whole body out of it. That's what people get in power, because where are you going to? If you leave government, you got elected in the government office, and you're making even $5,000 every month, and you're getting free gas slip, and you're getting free car. Why would you want to leave that? You're gonna take all your money and every resources to do everything possible to remain in power. So the money is what is brought this mess in Liberia. The government money, the largest. And until we get a leader that can say, I'm going to cut all these things off. It's Peru here. The president ride his bicycle to work. In Switzerland, the president then get on the train. Their city mayors here in this country, they're not even paid. They volunteer. Okay? Because based on what your city produces, you producing nothing. You earning nothing in Liberia for the country. You can't even read the number here, poor. Yeah, they put it in front of you in black and white. You even know what a trade balance is of a country, but you won't be represented. Aren't we doing this thing to ourselves and our future generation? And it's getting worse and worse and worse. It gets to the point where you see what happened in Sri Lanka. That's what happened in Sri Lanka. Then the people got fed up. They jump in the street. They jump in the palace. They destroy everything.
Destroy
And
everything.
that's what I'm predicting will happen in Liberia. The people will rise up one day. It don't have to be through guns. They will enter the streets. They will enter that country, and they enter that capital, and everybody will start fresh from that day. Exactly what happened in Sri Lanka. You wait after this election because the people get tired. If you can't feed your child, you don't have hospital bill. You can't work. What do? Sit down there and look at Carol's grade to be riding Porsche and be getting married in France.
In France.
You know, their country mayor that was laying on somebody's floor in somebody's couch in America 5 years ago that can't even get a job that paid $5 an hour in America, but now Liberian government should take $15,000 of its meager resources and give it to build houses, and then other people should sit down and watch that. You know,
if I should come in, this is where we are coming from. We need to have a all Liberian meeting. Sometimes ago, there's a fellow who I befriend. He is a Laotian, we're Liberian Laotian from Laos. And this man suggested that we have a council meeting in Guinea. That's about, I think, 2 years ago, you know. And this meeting was supposed to bring all Liberians from all walks of life. If you can make it to Guinea, we should have sat down, we discuss how best we can be able to affect change in Liberia. And I think we can do it. Chu-Chu, if we can start that show, we can have such thing like that. It doesn't have to be large. But for you who out there listening to me, I'm telling you, this will be one of the greatest thing or history that we'll make. Like what Mr. Chu-Chu just said. This council will be able to come together and make the government to yield to them, because we make the government. We have the power. All power is invested. It's inherent into the people. We can come together as representative of the country and tell Mr. President, or Mr. Senate Pro Tem, whatever, we got to cut down salary. To
not
be able
just
to
salary.
We got to share the human resource equally, evenly. And every county, if possible, let every county be autonomous. So that every county can employ their own form of government, not a government, but that government will work under the central government. That's what I call decentralization. Chu-Chu, this is what I said, right? Let's look at where we are in America. Right where I am now, the place is called Greenwood. In Greenwood, there's 1, 2, 3, about 4 driver division where you go to get license. In this one community, there are about 4 areas you can go. I can drive about 5 minutes from my house. I'll go to a place, driver division. I can drive 50. It depends on how far you want to go. So what I said here was that, look, let every county be able to shoulder the responsibility of the country. What do I mean by that? Let's take, for instance, let's get Minister of Education. We send it to Bannie County. We take Minister of Social Welfare, Health and Social Welfare. We send it to Bannie County. We take Minister of Defense to Lofa County. If we can put these ministries in these various counties, what happened, Chu-Chu? People will now remain in their county and get jobs, because the workers of those ministries will move to those counties. And as they move in those counties and work, they pay tax to the county. So the county begin to collect taxes with whatever the government get now. Get half for the government, half for the county. The county will be able to undertake their own developmental responsibility. As a result, the central government only have half burden to share. The county will be able to pay their own security men. They can have county police. So you see how when we divide the workloads in the country, how things will be easy. Bon County can say, look, we have tax money enough. We are going to make, we are going to do our own roads from town to town. So the government, the central government, will only have the responsibility to build roads through other countries. Now, with that payment of employees in the county, the superintendent take over. They will be able to have their own educational system. They will be able to have their own laws, rules, and regulations, but not above the central government. This is how we can face Liberia. Let every county share the responsibility of the government. And that's what I call the equal distribution of human resource. Let's distribute all the governments. Those ones that can't go, they all remain in Monrovia. And one of the advantages of this, Monrovia will be depopulated. And when Monrovia becomes depopulated, we can now build our cities to a metropolitan city. You know, tourism will come over. Our beaches can be fixed because people in those ministries have traveled to those counties. They found their jobs. Jobs began to be created in every county. So you don't have to come from Bon County to even go to Nima for a job. There will be jobs. Investor comes, investor will start in fact going to the county because the population will grow. This is how I think we can fix this country. But the people will have to get a voice. And the only way we can get a voice, we have to come together as a people and have a council meeting and demand the government to cut salary so that every citizen can be able to have equal share of our resources.
I can tell you this much. Don't waste your time on the government or the politicians agreeing to all these things.
That's why they come to us.
Yes. First of all, they are not interested. All your representatives like I said, we're talking yesterday about Yomble, Kanga Lawrence, Direct Ceylon. What kind of sensible idea have they ever come up with to unite Liberians? They are interested in Joseph, unqualified Joseph Boakai. Okay? The Ellis Cummings people interested in Ellis Cummings. None of these people that have any intention of bringing Liberians together. They're one of the people. And to some degree, the people have to wake up. Tyrannical, corrupt governments does not change itself. It's like somebody abusing you, right? They're going to continue to abuse you until you step on and say no more. And there's a lot of ways you can do it. Okay? But if you're falling behind there and hoping that, the people you talk sense into that, I've given up on that long time ago. Nobody who works in this government or ever been elected in Liberia, all right, have what it takes to bring people together and bring change to Liberia. I'm convinced. None of these people, now the Boakai, these people are all self-centered, selfish people. They like the system the way it is because they want to get there and put that one people there so they can steal. Just like Elling. So how you go talk to that kind of person we're talking about recently here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How can you reason like the Bible said with a fool? You cannot. So the only other choice here is the people are more than the 400 people in government, right? You are all the people in the House of Representatives, in the Georgia government, even in the political party, how much are they? They're not good 10,000. The young people, the ordinary people, one day have to wake up and say no more. That thing you're talking about, distribution of resources, in France, that how France used to be before the French Revolution. In America, that how it used to be before the independence. That people want to explore people all over this world until they stand up and say no or hell no. We will get our own resources to our country. Ain't going to the government anymore. Okay? It going in our account. We will elect our own city mayors and our own representatives, whether you like it or not. We will boycott the whole government if possible. That's the only way you're going to get change in Liberia. You're not going to get change through election. The corrupt people then taking the money from the government, Joria then bribing the US and the Cummingses, bribing It's a mess. It's a mess because you know what? It's one thing where only one group of people doing, but the opposition doing the same thing. Look at the opposition senators and representatives. If you're lying, go look at how many representatives from the Unity Party or the CPP. Anyway, they elected a lawyer in Lofa County. Where was it? 2 years ago, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago when they had a midterm election. Okay, go show me even his website to show me what he's done for that since he been elected. Nothing. He collected 15,000 every month for 2 years ago till now. He's riding a house. He probably finished building a house. His children probably in America. And he's done with those people. So the people have to wake up. And that's what we want the people. You have to wake up and you have to demand. In South Africa, where the people have nuclear weapons and bombs, children got in the streets. And they said, no, we're not going to take apartheid. Nelson Mandela people stood up and said, we're not going to do it. You waiting for the idiots to come together and say, let's get our brother together, let's take the money from all the people looking for more money. Then you talking about taking money from the government and from the political party to go give it to Liberian people. We're joking. No greedy people. All the money Burger and collecting government, you ain't looking for more. You know?
Burger say he poor.
You looking for more?
This is where we come from. This is where we come from, Chu.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is where we will come from. The council, the people's council. I'll call it the people's council. Okay, let's just name it, okay? The people council. The people council will compose of all Liberians of walks of life. Okay, from all walks of life. If you can make it to Monrovia, come up. We are going to have a MICE meeting and come up with some mandates and lay it down before the government that this is what we want or you're not going to be. Here's what we need to do. We need to discourage people from taking government we need to discourage people from making government job as place of work. We need to discourage people from even looking for government jobs. How can we do this? The government can empower citizens to invest in business. Okay, open factories, industries. I'm telling you, when everybody's involved in the development, in the building of this country, government job become less because we got to cut that salary. Because most people are hooking onto power because of what you just said, the free money. And when they get the money, where do they go? They go abroad. Another thing we have to lay down is this: no government employee, from janitor to the president, until you have certain amount of millions of dollars in Liberian bank, in Liberia, save in Liberia. You don't save anywhere abroad. You got to have, let's say for instance, get about $3 million in Liberian bank, in UB Bank, RB Bank, Liberian Bank, or Joseph Bannie Bank. You got to have at least $3 billion, all government workers, or you're not saving any money abroad. You know what that will do? People will hold this country at for any clandestine activities. People will hold it because where your treasure is, there where your heart will be. If we start investing our resources in Liberia, Liberia is going to be one great country in West Africa, if not in the whole of Africa.
Look, Mr. Bannie, like I said, you just need proper leadership. Because you cannot expect an apple tree to bear orange. It's been clear that none of these people in government, and I challenge any one of them, knows how to run a government, knows how to run a lemonade stand. These were not successful business people or people who working anywhere that left from there and say, let me go to Liberia. The American and they took them from school yet.
Yeah.
They did a graduate, they put it in government. How can you go in government with no experience? The Burma Cameroon, they took them from other school, from University of Liberia, like that, you know, any kind of prestigious school where you learning current events or something like that. They take them from there. they jump behind the political people, they get in position. You don't have the experience. So the first thing when you're in a hole, you got to stop digging. All the election thing here, it will not going to produce any result because the whole system is rigged.
It's rigged and corrupt.
All right. No, the whole system is rigged. It's, like I said, all these countries you see, Singapore, Europe, they were like that before. What you have to do is that you need the people to stand up first by educating them on what to do. To demand. You see in America, you see the Black Lives Matter. How many times people in talk? How many times people in say, oh yeah, police officer cannot go and just kill people, black people, cannot brutalize people. They've been doing it. Right? Until few buildings were burned down and few things. I'm not advocating violence, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm a historian.
They got to have
the black people got tired with the guy in the streets and nobody, no business could make money. And I went and started putting body camera on police officer. And that's when now the police officer became more civil to black people. So what you think is that America will live in people they can't hear, they like easy. Then at Liberia, no ones there you go act easy on. You have to demand.
We have to demand.
From this day, you're not taking resources from Lofa County and taking it to Monrovia to get a job here. You have all the solutions here you're talking about. For you have a decentralized government where you have investments where people can take loans. But you think you're talking about putting money, government future putting money in the bank. The people are going to even go to their own, the Minister of Health don't even go to JFK.
But let me share with you or the public a news that hit me. Okay? In Belayala, I'm from Belayala. Okay? Nathaniel McGill, according to a report, because I traveled in Belayala when I was there, I had a meeting with the elders to find out why our creek, the creek that we were drinking, all of all that were born in Belayala, that was the first creek. That creek, in fact, was whoever founded Belayala was a creek that they've been drinking up until this time, recent time. Guess what Nathaniel McGill did? He sent a group of Russians there to go dig gold. They went and diverted the creek. As a result, now before you damage the people creek, they should have built hand pumps. But they didn't do any of that. And mind you, Nathaniel McGill is from Bella Chiefdom.
Oh, really?
Yes. Nathaniel McGill's father, it was my father who gave Nathaniel McGill's father land behind our house to build. When he was the commissioner assigned in Bella District, those days used to be Bella Chiefdom, because we were the Lofa County had run from all the way north all the way to Bopolu. It was Lofa. So the Bella District used to be called the Chiefdom. Like they have Bokomu Chiefdom, Bella Chiefdom, and Lobaizu clan, all over that. So Nathaniel McGill's father was assigned to the Bella Chiefdom. When he came to Belayala, Mr. McGill only had hand grips. I'm telling you. It was my father, Yakpalo Bannie, who gave Nathaniel McGill's father place to build. They were living right behind our house. So what am I saying this? Is that the resources in our town, this boy took Russians to go and diverse the creek just to dig gold for him.
Yep.
Okay. Now, guess what's going on right now as we speak? They have Burkina beans and Chinese going to Belayala for gold. What do you think? You see, so the government,
you know what I'm saying, Mr. Bannie,
go out and bring investors to destroy their own places. Where you think the Chinese will take the gold? Where you think Burkina Faso that aided the war that's supposed to be given a reparation to pay a reparation for supporting war in our country? We didn't have an application with Burkina Faso for them to pay debt on us.
Mr. Bannie,
but these are the same people that they are investing in to come again and destroy the country. If people who come to destroy your country, how about now to give them our resources?
Mr.
in
Bannie,
Bel-Air.
that your own belly son that doing it to you. Until you get tired and say, you know what? We shut down this creek until the resources can be used. We put our trustees in place that everybody here that will live here can benefit. McGill will continue to do that.
See?
That's the problem with Liberian people. You want for U.S. government to be talking for you. You want for other people to come and fight your battle. You don't freedom is something you got to earn. Nobody gave you freedom for free. Kenya didn't get freedom from the British for free. India didn't get freedom from South Africa didn't get freedom for free. When you like, bro, what you thinking? Oh yeah, somebody God will send somebody to come. God ain't sending nobody. You the one. You are the one who are from your town, your village, your country. You the one who's suffering. You gotta wake up. There ain't gonna be nobody. Gary Cause ain't gonna do no protest for you because he's corrupt. He will cut a deal and he will take whatever money for himself. You learned before. Charles ain't coming rescue you because what? He will take your resources and he will brutal you last year. You have to be your own freedom fighter. You have to be your own rescuer. You have to be your own fixer. Ellis coming now your fixer, he can care less about you. When did he start facing Liberia? Joe Bogart now your rescuer. He know that he can even rescue himself before you rescue Liberia or rescue you. So that's what I'm saying. Until you take the initiative and you call your people together and say we are tired with this mess in Liberia and we're not taking it no more. Then the government is not going to subject us to cruelty. The government, we're not going to allow government to take the country resources for our place. Until you do that, just the way the Black Lives Matter in America say, you know what, we will march, we will blockade, we will do whatever, but you know what, we are tired. Right now, all the political leaders, they are not seeing that, but you with it after the election, then all of them will change now from political leader now to advocate. That's to tell you the trickery.
See?
They want, and the only purpose now for them to get back in power or move somebody from in power. They don't really care about the issues that the people are faced with. And like I said, I have given up any rational thought from these people. These people are hooligans. The people in government, they are hoodlums. They don't understand. The only thing they understand is how they can take from you, how they can suck the blood of the country, the milk the country to everything. Go to that job where I say, yeah, we want to build a country. Or you go next FIFA, you'll see him there. So stop being fooled. And take responsibility do it for your generation, do it for your children. Stand up, be a man for once, and say the right thing. Liberians are all boys. Waiting for somebody, American ambassador said this. American ambassador said that. You think American ambassador, they got something good to do. They won't be behind you then you go elect your seeing McGill. You go elect your seeing Edwin Snow. You go elect your seeing Boyka. Then you want somebody else to kind of the person, like I said, you said it. McGill is from Bella Yala. Where is Bella Yala today in terms of development? This man was in the government. They made all the promises. Bella Yala, I'm sure that is not a modern city. So the next person in Bella Yala will come out again. They all about, I will do this. Forget it. Let the people do it together. We, like you said, have a council. The people in France, the people protested for months until they change. The labor rights in America, nothing here was free. Okay, all the amendments here, people got together and said the government will not allowing it. And the government usually concedes because the government is there by the people. Until we get to that point and say, I'm not for Cummings, I'm not for Burger, for Liberia. Then the solutions are there. You Liberia got economists, Liberia got experts, Liberia got, you can fix Liberia in 6 months time. You can get people together to find a solution to all of these problems. Healthcare, economic growth, loans. We're doing a thing here.
We can do it.
But the problem here is you got to change the leadership. You got to demand. You can't let the leadership say, oh yeah, so say one, so say all. You're running beyond Joe, we are running beyond Borka, wearing a t-shirt, going all around the place that you can't talk about now. You want change the country. So the few good people that have, the intelligence, they need to step up, first speak about it, organize, come together, forget what party you with, who you support, and see the injustices, the economic injustice in Liberia by the very politicians, by the very political parties, and rise up against them. You gotta be a man some point in your life. Jesus went to the temple and threw the whole money changer off, and he was Jesus Christ. So who told you that when you're a
Somebody
leader,
got to turn it over.
exactly, somebody gotta kind of turn that whole crap off and say, you know what, we're not taking this anymore. Do what you want to do, government, kill all of us. Put all of us in jail, but we're not taking this one more day. No minister or no representative getting $15,000 till today ends.
Yes.
No minister getting car. We all will take the public transportation. When Liberia get to that point, that country can move forward very, very fast.
Yes. That's
we
true.
don't have the guts. We sit now watching Netflix with foolishness on Facebook. So that's I think that's what we got for you guys today. You got to rise up.
Yeah.
And you get your own representative. Forget about this foolish. Participate if you want, but what outcome? They see one group of people, you change them and bring the same other group of people in. That they take the group of people that took their own, the new people come in to take their own. So I don't even have much faith in it.
Yeah, let me end up with a story. My fellow Liberians, viewers, listen to this story, and you will find out where we sit. There was a man sitting out on his porch one morning. Morning sun coming out, he's sitting on his porch with his little dog, sitting out. And the dog face was kind of sad. The man and his son walking down the street, passed by the guy, they greeted, hello. But the little boy suspected something. He observed something. The dog face was very sad. It's like the dog was in pain. So the little boy passed by, they went by. While they were coming by, the boy asked his daddy, he said, Daddy, I noticed something. And daddy said, what? He said, the dog sitting by that man, his dog is not happy. Why is the dog not happy? So the father decided to find the answer for his little boy. While going back home, they went to the scene guy. And the guy in the little conversation, the father of the little boy asked, he said, look, my son, is there something about your dog? He said, your dog is not happy. He got a sad face. What happened to your dog? The dog is not happy. And the man said, he's sitting on the nail. He said, that's what paining him. But until he can feel that he's sitting on the nail, he will not get out. My fellow Liberians, we are sitting on the nail. Everywhere we go, even abroad, in the country, town and villages, everybody complain that Liberia is not good. People are leaving Liberia young people are leaving Liberia for no reason. Some of them have no thought of where to go and they just want to leave Liberia. That's because we are sitting on a nail. This nail continues to juke our butts. And until we can feel that we are sitting on a nail, we will not get out. But I think where we are now, my fellow citizens, let us get off this nail and be able to do something for ourselves. Thank you. We are sitting on the nail.
And the only thing I would add to what you just said, Cummings not going to kind of do it for you because he's corrupt and useless. Booker is not going to do it for you. Joey is not going to do it for you. Nobody, Bannie is not going to do it. Alex Jones is not going to do it for you. You have to find that willpower to stand up. If one person gets up, and goes and challenges and says, I'm not taking it, somebody else will see him and will follow step. You see the Arab Spring? That was one man in Morocco. He took the abuse so much and he lit himself on fire. And you know how many leaders went down because of that? How many changes, how many reform came from that? So Somebody has to have the courage to say, my people, we're not taking this. No party business, no for the other person. Everybody who sees that the country is in darkness and in disparity, you get up and you communicate to these political leaders, all of them. You can't say I support the other man, but I support the other man. They are all responsible, and they are all the reason you are where you are. So start picking one and the other, because you're not with the other person. And once we do that, a new day will come in Liberia. But we got to go through the fire first. We got to go through the fire. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow for another edition of Voice of Reasoning. God bless.